So finally I decided कि यार
So
भगवान को पहले
last
थैंक यू
session
बोलूंगा,
we
उसके बाद जिंदगी शुरू करूंगा.
had
So that
clarity
was
on
the thing.
some
So
doubts. We
basically फिर
clarified to
मैं
everyone
अपनी
what
12th
the
पास करने के
problems they
बाद
are
मैं घर से
facing.
भाग गया था भगवान को
And
ढूंढने के लिए, क्योंकि मुझे पता नहीं था भगवान है कौन.
today we will
तो
see
मैंने
some
फॉर अ टाइम बिंग मैंने शिव जी
already
को
we
चुना हुआ
learned
था. मैंने
how
बोला
to
फॉर
create
टाइम बिंग शिव जी को चुन लेते हैं.
React app
लेकिन एक्चुअली
with
भगवान है कौन पहले तो ये पता लगाएंगे,
TypeScript.
उनको
Have
जी
you
भर के
tried it?
थैंक यू बोलेंगे, एंड देन आई
Uh,
कम बैक एंड रिज्यूम माय लाइफ.
so try to
तो गेस
transform
व्हाट,
your
ये जिंदगी
previous
ये घुटन देती
examples
मेरे को. तो एक ये चीज भी थी अंदर
into
अंदर, एक तो ईगो की
TypeScript.
एप्रिसिएशन. सेकंड थिंग वाज
Have
कि
you tried those?
मुझको
Anyone?
भगवान को थैंक यू बोलना है. थर्ड मुझको ये
Any
था कि
of you tried
मैं बहुत
transforming
अमीर
those
आदमी बनूंगा
examples into
और मैं गरीबों
TypeScript?
की सेवा करूंगा. लेकिन मैंने देखा
Huh?
लोग ना तन से कम दुखी हैं, लोग मन
I
के उदास
asked
हैं.
you to try,
लोगों के पास पैसा रोकड़ा सब कुछ है,
right?
वरना
Just you
लोग
have to
इतने
need to
कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है
configure the types
कि
now,
ना लोगों के मन की सेवा करनी चाहिए.
right? You
अब
need to
मन की
create
सेवा
a
करना लोगों का
contract,
कैसे हो,
define a
दैट वाज
type, and you
माय
have to
क्वेश्चन था
use
ना,
the
मुझे
type.
आंसर
Already
ढूंढना
I
था.
showed you state
Finally when I
how to
came
configure
inside
a
ISKCON after meeting various
type.
gurus, of course learning something from them,
So
but
you
finally when I
have
came to
to
ISKCON, तो मैंने देखा
transform
कि यहाँ
all
बड़ी बड़ी
your
तीन चीजें पूरी हो रही हैं. भगवत गीता
React
जिनकी पढ़ करके मुझे
JavaScript
सबसे ज्यादा
examples
इंस्पिरेशन मिली थी,
into
श्री प्रभुपाद,
TypeScript.
वो
Already I
एक
showed
ISKCON में ही
you
है जी. सेकंडली मैंने देखा
React
भगवान
TS
को थैंक यू
project.
बोलना है ना, अगर उसका बेस्ट तरीका है जो भगवान ने मुझको दिया है, इस सब चीजों
And
को मुझे भगवान
here
की सेवा में
I
लगा देना चाहिए.
given you a
तो मैंने कहा ये भी
overview
हो
of
जाएगा,
how we
पूरा
can
बढ़िया हो जाएगा
design
यार. और मैंने कहा
components,
लोगों का
how
मन
to
भी ठीक हो जाएगा
configure,
अगर मैं लोगों को एक ज्ञान
how to
बांटूंगा ना.
use the
मैं
contract,
हरे कृष्णा बांटूंगा, लोगों के
define
मन
the
भी ठीक होंगे.
states.
मैंने कहा वाओ यार, ये
So
तो एक ही जगह पे
based on
तीनों
this,
काम
you
हो रहे हैं.
must try other examples
सो
now.
देन आई डिसाइड यार
That
एक दिन
means
मैं फुल टाइम
your
मैं
own
आई बिकम
complete end-to-end
ब्रह्मचारी यार.
example we
इस तरह से
tried. You
फुल
have
टाइम
to
किया
do
टू
that.
सर्व द सोसाइटी, उसके लिए
Okay,
मुझे ये करना
you
चाहिए.
try
तो
those
मुझको लगेगा ओके जो
concepts
कुछ
now.
मेरे पास जो ठाकुर जी ने दिया है,
Next,
भगवान ने दिया है,
now after
मैं उसको ऑफर
understanding
कर पाया,
how
मैं
to
अपनी
use
जशा से पूरी हो,
TypeScript
समाज
in
की सेवा
our
भी हो.
project,
ओके मैन, लेट्स गो फॉर इट.
JavaScript,
तो इस तरह
TypeScript,
से
we know
दिस
both of
वाज
them. Now we will
द वे
go with
ऑफ
some
स्पिरिचुअल
third
एवोल्यूशन.
parties. Huh?
एंड नाउ आई फील वेरी
That
satisfied
means
with
we
that,
will see
having a
how
Hare
to
Krishna
use
monk.
various third
भला हो उस
party
एनसीईआरटी टेक्स्ट
tools
बुक का जिसके
in
अंदर वो
React.
सात
Already we
सात
used
श्लोक थे
some,
जो आपने
like
पढ़े
we
और
used
आपको इतना अच्छा
what
रियलाइजेशन मिला. तो मैं
Axios,
दर्शकों का ध्यान इस एक बात पे
Axios we used for
आकर्षित करना चाहूंगा जो अमोक ने अभी अभी कही
handling
कि हमारी लाइफ
communication
में
with
हमें बहुत टैलेंट्स
API.
मिलते हैं, हमारी लाइफ में
So
हमें
this
बहुत
is
कुछ
for
ऐसी चीजें मिलती हैं जो कि
for
हमें काफी
API
आसानी से मिली
interactions
होती
we
हैं,
used
पर ये बहुत
Axios,
इंपॉर्टेंट होता है
right?
कि हम
What
दे क्या रहे
else
हैं,
we learned
हम अपनी
third
सोसाइटी
party?
को, हम भगवान को उस
So
टैलेंट,
many.
उन
We
सब
used
चीजों
Formic.
के वजह पे हम क्या दे रहे हैं, जो
Formic
कि अमोक
is
लीला दास
a
जी ने
third
अपनी लाइफ में
party.
उस
It
चीज
is
की
used
कमी
for
जानी
handling the
और आगे बढ़े.
forms.
तो आपने जिस तरह से बताया
So
कि
we
12th
used
स्टैंडर्ड
an
में
YUP
आप
library.
घर छोड़ के
Am I right?
चले गए,
It
नॉट अ
is
वेरी
for form
मोटिवेटिंग एग्जांपल
validations.
फॉर एनीबॉडी,
Validations.
बट
What
आपके
else?
इस एक्शन से आपके घर पे क्या रिएक्शन
We
आया, आपके
used
घर पे आपके
React
माता पिता
cookie.
का क्या
Am I right?
रिएक्शन था कि भाई हमारा एक ही
React
हाँ
बंदा,
cookie is also
एक ही
third
बेटा है
party
जो कि
for
पर्टिकुलरली इतना
managing
टैलेंटेड है,
cookies.
अब वो पता नहीं क्या हो
What
गया,
are
उसको गलत
cookies? And
करके
we
चला गया.
discussed
तो
about that.
क्या रिएक्शन था, आपने
We
उनको कैसे
used
हैंडल किया?
even
नो
jQuery
नो, इट
also.
वाज अ वेरी सैडनिंग एक्सपीरियंस फॉर देम.
jQuery is also
हालांकि
used
मेरी
as a third
माताश्री को जो
party
है
for
एक
this. For
एस्ट्रोनॉट ने बताया था व्हेन आई वाज
jQuery
वेरी
AJAX,
यंग
na?
कि आपका बेटा जी
For
18
jQuery
19 साल की
AJAX,
उम्र
we
में
used
भगवान की
jQuery.
फोटो
So
देखने का
many
मौका
third
मिलता है.
parties we
तो
already
कहीं ना कहीं उनको
used
पता
in
था कि
React.
इसका कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर गड़बड़ तो
Some
है, 18
more
साल की उम्र में वो
important
सॉफ्टवेयर
third
में कुछ गड़बड़
parties
आएगी.
which are
तो ये उनको कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा
regularly
सा आइडिया तो
used
था.
in React.
सो माय
We
मदर
will
वुड
see
ऑलवेज
them,
आस्क कि बेटा तू
how
ठीक तो
to
है,
work with them
बेटा
and
तेरे को
design
डिप्रेशन तो नहीं
and
होगा.
use
मैं
them
शायद मैं डिप्रेशन
actually.
को शायद मैं भाग जाऊंगा.
So,
सो
and
दैट शी वुड
we have
ऑलवेज शो हर
used,
कंसर्न.
sorry, this is
लेकिन
E.
ना
Yeah.
भगवान
We
ने
have
मतलब
used
देखा था भगवान
also
के आशीर्वाद से, किसी
Bootstrap, na?
संत महात्मा के आशीर्वाद से, अगर कुछ ऐसा हो रखा है
Bootstrap
तो फिर
for
वो हुआ
what
भी. सो दे वर
purpose?
वेरी सैड ऑफ कोर्स कि
We
हमारा बच्चा
used
भी जो है
Bootstrap
डिप्रेशन
for
में चला गया, और
Bootstrap
उनको नहीं पता था कहाँ पर
components.
होगा. तो ऑफ कोर्स वो
Bootstrap
ऐसे में क्या होता है
components
व्यक्ति
means
ना उसके पास
cards,
जाता है तो किसी
alerts,
तांत्रिक के
so
पास भी गए वो,
buttons, all
बहुत
these
अच्छे
are
तांत्रिक भी होते हैं,
components
ज्यादातर
on,
तो बदमाश होते हैं पर कुछ
they
अच्छे भी होते
all
हैं.
are
तो
actually
किसी एक
Bootstrap
अच्छे तांत्रिक ने उनको
components.
बताया कि
We
आपका
used
बच्चा सेफ है,
Bootstrap
एक स्पिरिचुअल जगह पर
components.
है,
We designed and
और
worked
ना
with these
स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिस
components
करेगा और उसके
actually.
आसपास संत महात्मा ही है,
So these are
तो वो
all the
सुरक्षित है,
third parties
तो और
that
बहुत
we
जल्दी वो आ
used
भी जाएगा.
till
वो
now
घूमने के
in
लिए निकला है,
various
भगवान को थैंक यू
occasions.
कहने के लिए निकला है, वो जल्दी आ
So
भी जाएगा.
for
तो
interacting
इसलिए
with
जब ये
API,
इस तरह का
forms,
जब उनको आइडिया हुआ कि वो सेफ
validations,
है,
cookies
और साथ ही में ना
management,
मैं
and
आपको
all
दृष्टि
these
से
are
देखता हूँ
third
कि ना
party tools.
वो जिंदा है और वो ठीक
Now
है, वो
we
श्वास
will
लेने की
see
कोशिश कर रहा
some
है,
more
सो ही इज सेफ.
important third
और
party
लोगों ने उसको
tools,
बोला बताया हाँ
how
वो
to
तांत्रिक जो
use
है
them
वो
and how to
अच्छे
work
वाले
with them.
तंत्र मंत्री
So
कहता
what
है,
we are going to
झाड़-फूँक होता है, बोलते हैं कि
learn some more
कि स्वास्थ्य
is
सता रही है,
we will
उसको
see
उसको
how
हमको
to
मार टोटका वाला
use
नहीं है ये।
material
तो दैट वे
UI,
वो एक सोलेस मिला उनको कि हाँ, ओके सही बोल रहे हैं ये।
how to use a
और
material UI.
फिर
That means we
कुछ
will
और
see how we
इंडिकेशंस
can
थे जो कि
work with
भगवान उनको दे रहे थे सो
so
दैट उनका पेन
material
थोड़ा कम
UI.
हो। एंड
We will
सो
see
एंड देन आफ्टर
how
फ्यू
do we
मंथ्स अगेन आई
work
केम बैक
with React,
थोड़ा घूमते हैं घामते गुरुजी के पास,
we
के
can
पास
say
पास
Redux.
करते कराते पानी आई
Redux.
इसको ईस्ट ऑफ कैलाश
We will see how
वहां
to
पे जब हुआ तो
use
मुझे वहां डिवोटीज ने
React
कन्विंस किया कि आपको
native.
वापस आना चाहिए।
How do we
आप
work with
इतना
this
जल्दी घर
React
छोड़कर आ
native?
गए हो, 12th पास किए,
If by
अब
chance,
आपके
if
सारे
time
डाउट्स दूर हो गए,
permits, I
सवाल
will
ववाल पूछ
give
लिया
you one
आपने,
more
इंट्रोवर्ट हो,
overview. Ionic.
सारे डाउट्स दूर हो गए आपके, थैंक यू बोलिए आपने, तो आपको घर
Ionic,
वापस आना
these
चाहिए।
are
तो मुझे
just
इस्कॉन में
introduction I will
डिवोटीज
give.
ने
These are
कन्विंस किया
mobile
कि
development
आपको घर
actually.
वापस आना चाहिए। तो
We
मुझे
need
लगता है
these
कि इस्कॉन
frameworks
में
for
शायद
building mobile
हम बच्चों को
apps.
फंसा लेते हैं,
For
मेरा
building
फर्स्ट
mobile
एक्सपीरियंस है
applications,
कि
we
मुझे
need
इस्कॉन के डिवोटीज
Ionic
ने बोला
native
आपको माता
script
पिता
like
के पास
things we
वापस आना
need
चाहिए।
for building
सो दैट मीन्स
mobile.
मैंने ये भी सोचा था मैं
Instead
वापस
of
जाऊंगा, नहीं
React
पढ़ाई वढ़ाई
native,
मैं नहीं करूंगा, बस
you
12th हो
can
गई,
use
हो गया,
Ionic
भक्ति
or
करेंगे
other
बस।
tools also we can
उसके
go.
लिए भी डिवोटीज ने मुझे कन्विंस किया
So,
कि नहीं
and
आपको
we
पढ़ाई
will
वढ़ाई करनी
see
चाहिए,
how
आपको
we
सिर्फ
can
पढ़ाई वढ़ाई
use
करनी चाहिए।
testing,
सो देन आई केम
how we
बैक
can
एंड देन
use
आई डिड माय
deployment.
इंजीनियरिंग, उसके बाद फिर मैंने
These
अपनी
are
जॉब
the
भी की, लाइक दैट।
concepts we have to
सो
understand.
इस तरह से ये
Deployment
सफर रहा।
means
सो बट यस थ्रू आउट आई
how
वाज
we
इन टच
can
विद डिवोटीज वेदर ड्यूरिंग
make
माय
our
कॉलेज डेज,
React
whether I
application
go during
live.
my working days, I was
Production
always in touch with
means
devotees.
deploying
फिर फाइनली फिर
on,
माता पिता के
we
आशीर्वाद
will
से मैंने
deploy on cloud.
I joined fully on
We
Janmashtami
can use
2010
cloud
once
like we
again,
can use
being
GitHub
a
pages,
brahmachari. So 2000 to
or you
2010
can also
my
go with
academic years and my working years,
Firebase
4 साल,
or
6 साल,
AWS.
उसके बाद
If you know
फिर
AWS and Azure,
10
you
साल
can
अभी
try
as
that.
a happy
But
brahmachari,
I will
till I
give you
finally
an overview of Firebase, which is a Google cloud,
अमेजिंग। तो जब
and I
आप
will
वापस
give you a
गए घर पे
guidance
और
on
आपने
GitHub
अपनी
pages. You can
पढ़ाई
try,
शुरू की,
right?
तो
So
आपने
that
फिर
means
अपनी
we
पढ़ाई
can
और
make
अपनी
our
स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ को
application
किस तरह
live,
से बैलेंस
and
किया?
we
क्योंकि
can start
ये बहुत
using the
इंपॉर्टेंट बात कही
application.
आपने कि इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट
So
फॉर अस
these
टू
are
बी
the
रिस्पॉन्सिबल,
topics
कि
we
हम
need to
रिस्पॉन्सिबल
discuss. With
रहें
that,
कि
we
हमें
finish
अपनी
all
पढ़ाई
our
भी करनी है और
React part.
स्पिरिचुअलिटी को भी
Okay.
साथ में, भक्ति को भी साथ
So
में
we
रखना
are
है।
going
तो
to
आपने ये किस
understand
तरह से किया?
these
क्योंकि आपका तो
some
कुछ
more third
एक्स्ट्रा
parties,
वेगैन्जा
right?
इंटरेस्ट
I
था
already told you
भक्तों
there
की
will be
तरफ।
so many
तो
third parties
जनरली लोगों का
depending
इतना
on
इंटरेस्ट नहीं रहता, ऐसे
company's
खास लोग होते हैं
requirement.
आपकी तरह
We
जिनका
are
इतना
not
इंटरेस्ट
sure
रहता है,
that they will
हम
use
जैसे
only
आम लोग का इतना
what
इंटरेस्ट नहीं
you
रहता
have
उस हुनर
learned,
में। तो जब
but
आपका इतना
you must
इंटरेस्ट था,
able to
फिर
explore
आपने
other
अपनी
third
पढ़ाई पे
parties
कैसे
once you
फोकस
are
किया
aware
और
of
भक्ति ने आपको
this,
पढ़ाई
right?
में फोकस करने के लिए
Today we will
किस तरह से
see
मदद की?
how we can use a
या
simple
उसके लिए मैं
a
क्योंकि
simple
डिवोटी से टच में
overview
था, तो
on how
डिवोटीज
to
हमें बोला
work
करते
with
थे कि
Material UI.
स्पिरिचुअलिटी हमें लापरवाह नहीं बनाती,
How do we work
स्पिरिचुअलिटी
with
हमें जिम्मेदार
Material
बनाती
UI?
है।
We will see that.
तो इसीलिए
What is
हमें
Material
अपनी
UI?
जिम्मेदारियों को निभाना चाहिए।
So
होता है क्या,
it
कभी
is
कभी लोग
nothing but
स्पिरिचुअलिटी के नाम पे
it
दे
is a
बिकॉज़ ओह आई एम सो
component
डिटैच्ड मैन, आई एम
library,
सो डिटैच्ड, मैं बहुत विरक्त हूँ।
component
लेकिन
library
एक्चुअल
for
केयरलेसनेस
React.
होती है, वो लापरवाही होती है वो। अब
It
मैं
is a
बहाना बन गया
component
कि मैं भक्त
library
बन
for
जाऊँ,
React.
तो इससे आई कैन अफोर्ड टू बी
What is the advantage of
lethargic,
this?
I can afford to be
So you can
self-absorbed
use
because
these
I'm spiritual enough.
components and build
और
the
मुझे
React
डिवोटीज ने कहा नो,
applications in
a
a more
spiritualist
better way.
is never ever lazy,
How it is
a
different
spiritualist
from
is not lethargic,
Bootstrap?
a spiritualist is not indifferent, वो कभी भी लापरवाह
Bootstrap
नहीं
is
होता,
also
वो
a
बेपरवाह होता
component
है।
library.
भक्त को
How
बेपरवाह
it is
होना चाहिए,
different from
लापरवाह नहीं
Bootstrap
होना
is
चाहिए।
actually
When a devotee
it
can be
is
carefree but not
built,
careless.
it is built
So
for
इसीलिए
React,
मुझे डिवोटी से
and
बात करते थे,
hence
मैं पढ़ाई
it
लिखाई
is
शुरू
built
करी
from React, and
और इसी मैंने
hence
अपनी
it
पढ़ाई
is
लिखाई अच्छे से की भी। और मैं क्या करता था, संडे मंगल आरती
native
जाया
for
करता था इस्कॉन ईस्ट
React.
ऑफ कैलाश,
That means
और
it
वहाँ
easily
मैं
fits
पूज्य
into
बात
React.
करूंगा डिवोटीज के साथ,
Bootstrap also fits
भेदभाव
into
का निवारण
React,
है प्रसादम।
but it is not
बाकी
native
पूरे
of
हफ्ते
React. It
मैं
again
अच्छे से
depends on
पढ़ाई
lot
करता था।
of
सुबह उठते
jQuery
से मैं जपा करता था,
functions.
and then I would go to
We have to
college,
use
in the
lot of
college, and after the
jQuery
college I would
UI.
study in the
We have to depend on
लाइब्रेरी में
jQuery
रहूंगा,
UI.
पढ़ाई लिखाई करूंगा वहां पे,
So
and then late
Material
evenings I
UI
would
is
come
built
back
for
to my
React,
home,
and
and
you
once in a
have
week
to
I may
use
go
that
maybe
React.
through temple,
But
Sunday
actually
को
lot of
मंगल आरती में जाया
changes.
करता था मैं इस्कॉन
Component
ईस्ट ऑफ
library.
कैलाश। तो
Component
इस तरह से
library
पूरे हफ्ते
means,
अच्छे से पढ़ाई करना
so it provides
और संडे
predefined
को मॉर्निंग में जा
components,
करके मंगल आरती अटेंड करना। तो उसके लिए
predefined
मैं
components,
तो मेरा
like
1 घंटा
we have so
स्कूल में
many,
था
like we
मंदिर पे
have
मेरा घर,
buttons.
तो इसीलिए
So we
मैं
have
रात को बुक किया
like
करता था ऑटो वाले
accordion,
को कि भैया
accordions, like
सुबह
we
आपको
have
वहां पर आना है
sliders,
4:45 बजे,
sliders.
साढ़े
We
4
have
बजे
like
पहुंच जाना
dialogues,
मंदिर।
dialogues,
तो मैं
like it
1 रात पहले
provides
ऑटो वाले को बुक
grids.
कर दिया करता था,
So
एंड
many
देन
third
सुबह
party,
सुबह फिर कॉलेज
so
जाते थे,
many
फिर मैं
components more, right? But for general, if you know how to use general Material UI, the paid services you can explore by yourself. If your company is paying and they have an registered account in Material UI, so you can easily get more advanced components, right? So these are all components. For example, where you will see components components. Suppose you see, I have Netflix. I already told you, Netflix is designed with React. And you see, these are the buttons, but we designed such buttons in Bootstrap, right? Actually, we designed such buttons in Bootstrap. We designed such drop downs in general HTML. We designed this input group. This is input group register form. and you see there is an accordion. This is actually accordion. The questions, this is called accordion actually. We call it as accordion. We can design this in Bootstrap, but Bootstrap requires a lot of things. Means very complex in Bootstrap to design accordion. If you have already used Bootstrap, you know how complicated it is actually. We need accordion, we need accordion collapse, accordion head, body, footers, so much hierarchy. These will provide a simple way of designing such components. So how to design and use this type of components in our project? We will see one example. I will show you 1-2 components, others you have to explore by yourself, because these will be changing regularly. Version by version, many changes will happen. Actually, now latest version, what happened is React 17 and greater versions are using emotion, right? And they are using emotion. So emotion styling engine. So which is a new engine for creating styles. The React 17 and higher versions are using emotion styling engine for MUI, material UI. For material UI, it is using a new emotion style engine. Actually, earlier they have to use some static styles. Now they are using some new styling engines. These are responsible for making the material UI more effective, the components more effective. I will show you a simple approach how to implement this. So this is, and remember, this is not something like somebody will teach you and you can learn, right? These third-party components are always depending on your R&D. You have to research, right? You have to get the correct component which is required for your project. Based on that, you have to implement and use. I already told you, not only React UI, MUI, there are other third parties like that. What else? If you remembered, similar to Material UI, you have like Telerik also. Telerik is also a very big third party component library which will provide components for this. So even you learned Material UI, it is not necessary that your projects have to use Material UI. Because suppose if you belong to technologies like .NET and JSP, PHP, some projects in .NET, JSP, PHP, they are using already Telerik. At a larger level, companies are using Telerik. Then they will say that for React also you use Telerik components. Don't go with MUI. Then complete library is different. Their approach will be different. You have to explore by yourself. For example, you see, this is Telerik. This is Telerik. This is a third-party library. And you can see here, this is Telerik. These are the customers of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. So Microsoft is customer of Telerik. Fox, Visa, IBM, these are the customers of Telerik. That means they are providing library support for software support for NASA, IBM, and Microsoft like people. Then you can imagine their abilities. Your company's majority purchase them. Suppose when you are going as a developer, not just React developer, so with some other technology and React like Java, React, .NET React, Python, PHP React, then obviously these kind of third parties you will come across in your project. And you cannot use your React MUI because they are already using this. You can see in the demos here, you can see demos, and you can see here you have demos, you see. So UI demos for Angular, it is for React. They call it as Kendo. Kendo use the UI library for every library for Kendo is the library for Angular, React, and all. So you open this Kendo, you can see these are all React. we used our Formic and Yup library, but you see there is a React form and so many components will be there. You can see hundreds of components. And these are not free. You have to purchase. You have to purchase and you have to use them. These are all components. And this is all, you see the pricing for this. This is Kendo. So, and this is dollar per developer. And depending on that response time, 24-hour response time. That means if any technical issues will come, they will respond immediate. Right? So that means the point here is, so Material UI, which is MUI, Material UI. This is React component library. This is Material UI. So what you can do, you can use these Material UI components in your project. And as I already told you, so NASA, Netflix, and Amazon, Spotify, all these are using this Material UI. Means they are built on React and they are using this Material UI. Right? And you observe here, it is also having a premium service, paid. If you are using Community Edition, then it is free. Usually we are using Community. That means it is not for commercial, right? In that case, you have to purchase actually. Enterprise means you have to purchase. And when you purchase, they will give you more support and more richer components. Whatever components that you see in free edition, there will be more in that Community editions. Now we will see how to set up and how to install this Material UI. How to use this Material UI in our project. So let's see. I will give you simple example how to handle. Then others you can try, right? First important is you need to do this. How to use Material UI. So to use Material UI, first step, set up Material UI for React project. How do we set up Material UI for React project? Just what you have to do is, so install following tools in your project. So you have to install the tools in the project. So these are the tools you have to install. We have to use npm install, all these you have to do. So actually all I am installing together. Generally, you can install separate. Npm install Emotion React. Just clarity sake, I am giving a npm install Emotion style. Emotion is the new styling engine. It is a new styling engine. Actually, there are so many things I told you already. We have a rendering engine. We have a view engines. We have styling engines. So many are there. Actually, so it is Emotion is a styling engine. Do you have any idea what a styling engine can do? What a styling engine can do? Anywhere you came across? Actually, in the beginning, I told you, if you remembered, we have a browser engine, browser engine, and we have a styling engine. Styling engine. We have a browser engine, styling engine. Actually, the browser engine is responsible for converting so everything into DOM, and styling engine is for CSS OM, CSS object model, the process of creating the layout, right? That means along with the DOM, the CSS object model also need to be generated. So for that, this styling engine comes to the picture, right? You can do like this, or you can install, or you can install in this way. So everything at one line, right? npm install and use a save flag. That is better. So this is These are the primary libraries required actually. So one is material, and remember this material installation, material configuration completely different from previous. That means majority of your companies may not be still using 17 and higher versions. Then their material usage is completely different. I will do one thing today. I will upload a old document that contains about React material older version before 17. You can go through that because almost majority of the companies are still not using React 17 and higher. In that case, you have to majority of times work in on an older version. Then you have to install and set up in a different environment. We don't have emotion style engine. There is another set of styling options available. We have to install them. But from React 17 and higher version, you need this one, right? So we have to first set up and install this. Let's see how to configure. I will open this everything. Go to the terminal, and in the terminal we will use that command. So and run. It is downloading and installing the complete material UI. Okay, once it is successful and it is ready. Now you see generally when you configure this material UI, this is there. That means we installed the material UI and it is configured. But actually material is using some special fonts, just like your Bootstrap is using some special fonts and icons library. I already showed you and we use it everywhere. Bootstrap icons. Another one is Bootstrap CSS. Two options are there, icons and CSS. And Roboto is the font used by Bootstrap. I hope you know that. Actually, if you want to achieve the same look and feel of how they given in the components, better you set up those fonts also, same what they are using. Otherwise, it's okay. Only the point is the font appearance will be similar. Okay. Now, initially, that is important. See here, when you install this, when you configure and install this, in the index here, this is index.html. This is index. And in the index here, you can observe. So there are some files configured. There are some additional things defined here. And what are the additional files actually? These are nothing but these are related to favorite icons. This is related to responsive. This is related to a theme to be used, right? And this is all metadata, means it is just information about your project. So what is manifest? Any idea? Generally in many software technologies, you may come across with that. What is manifest? It is a very common file that you will come across in all your technologies like .NET, Java. Any idea? Actually, manifest is nothing but it comprises of all the metadata about your application. Metadata. That means it contains all the metadata about your application. Actually, this manifest. So manifest is not there here. It is not configured. It is just having that file. You can create that file to keep all the metadata about your project. Means what metadata you can configure for the project. All that information you can keep here. That I will tell you in later stage. Actually, this is done by developers when they are building an app with multiple versions. If you are building an app with multiple versions, what changes are happening, everything you have to define in the manifest. It is very much used in migrations from one version to another, right? Of course, currently there are no other options available. What you can do is, if you want to use materials related options, you can observe in index file also nothing's newly added. Index also everything same, there are no changes here. Index.html everything observe. In package.json you can see material UI is there, emotion is there, it is working fine, there is no problem in that. But there is no change in your index here. So, and there is no change your styles. Okay. In TS config also, actually you can see here it is using these options. And we already know target. Already I told you, na, majority of TypeScript projects are currently using ES6. And sometimes when you are working with material, this may be a problem. This may be a problem. So one, make sure that when you are using material components, if anywhere it gives a warning that the supported ES version is not updated, then you have to change this to ES6. Understood? As of now, not required. As of now, it is not required, because already I told you in TypeScript, when TypeScript is translated into JavaScript, into which version it will do? It will use default ES6 or ES7 depending on how you configured, where to configure in the tsconfig.json. When you are using material with JavaScript, we don't have issue. But when you are using material with TypeScript, we have issue, because that have to translate into JavaScript, and JavaScript older versions may not be supported. You have to make sure that you are using the suitable version. Currently ES5 it is there, leave it. Now, how to enable our browser to use these fonts? That means actually React Material UI uses special fonts and icons library. It uses special fonts and icons library. You can get from Google APIs. Actually, you can get from Google API. You know, Google APIs, na, Google have a lot of APIs like CAPTCHA, like fonts, like icons. Lot of Google APIs are there. You can get the library from Google API. You can get it, you can install, you can download and install, or better, you can use CDN, right? That means what you do is get the CDN links from official source and link to your index. You have to link to your index.html page. So actually you can get it from the official website source. You can get from the official website. You see here we already installed. If you want to get the CDN links, you go to docs, right? You have docs, you go to the docs, and here I click on the docs. You can see in the docs you have one option. What is installation? Already we done. Yeah, this we have already done. And this is what you have to include. Yeah, these are the APIs. That means Roboto font, because Material UI designed for Roboto font. What you can do is you can link this font in your page. These are actually web fonts. These web fonts coming from that particular location. So when you are using Material to get a good appearance, you can use this. Actually, you see we have font icons. You can install them also. You can install them also. These are SVG icons. So SVG icons are nothing but just like Bootstrap have some icons, you have SVG icons. Actually, you can create your own icons also. For that, you need some tools. UX tools. UX tools are like, there is a tool called Sketch. By using that Sketch tool, you can draw your own icons, save them, and use them for your projects. At UX level, people do that. You can see this is there. We have Adobe XD, Sketch. You have like Figma. These are the tools used for designing icons, logos, and everything. We can design them, we can export them, and we can use them in our project, right? So actually, these are design tools. Now we will do only two things. What we will do, so we can get the fonts from here. So what I will do here, I will just copy this Roboto font. That means CDN links. This is for font. Font link is this one. Okay, I will just copy that for your reference so that you don't need to search. Another, it is for icons. So we can use icons. Icons link is this. So you have to get this. Actually, we can get it from, we can directly get and install here. SVG icons, you can install material icons here, right? If you install that, you will get material icons directly, or you can use a CDN also for that. You can use a CDN, but CDNs means you have to connect with the server every time. Offline, when you are working with your project, you cannot use them, right? Better you can try this. So I will install this also. That means you can install material icons here. So material icons, you set up and install these material icons, right? This means, remember, these all three things are optional. If you don't use them, it's okay. But what you will feel in the presentation is how they are showing in their theme, the same appearance you will not get. Some little bit change in the font's appearance will happen because they are using a different font style. So you also use the same, you'll get the same appearance. So it is not mandatory, because I hope you know, if anybody asks you, what are web safe fonts? Web safe fonts. So web safe fonts means if Roboto font is not installed, it is not configured in our project, which font it will take over? Those are called web safe fonts. In web development, what are web safe fonts? Means if any website is using a special, any application is using a special set of fonts and they are not available with your device, then into which form they will transform? What are web safe fonts? In HTML, you might have learned. Huh? What are web safe fonts? Which fonts are known as web safe fonts? No? Anyone from online? No? Nobody knows? You cannot apply all the fonts. Na? I hope many of you know that web safe fonts are like serif, like sans serif, and monospace. These are web safe fonts. Heard about them? Huh? These are web safe fonts. That means these are the fonts that are stable on every device. That means currently which font it is using? Roboto. If Roboto is not there, then it will transform into these serif, sans serif, and monosafes. These are considered as web safe fonts. Okay, we have to configure them. We have to set up. Okay, I will do this one. I will just install this also here. We will install these also here. We will save. So material icons also we are installing. You can get a CDN link and you need all this. So this is the basic of all the concept. That means now material UI is ready. To keep material UI ready, you have to do all this, right? And one more option, as I told you, if you are using older version, in the older versions below 16 and other versions, I told you emotions are not there, styles are there. For that, I will give a link, you go through them. Now we will see how to use components. That means set up components. How do we set up components in React app, right? How to set up components in React app, how to use them. That means material is ready. We have to start using the material components. So set up MUI components, MUI components in React app. We will see how do we use the MUI components in our React application. Let's see how to use them. Once it is installed successfully, fine. Now npm start, we will start the project. Now we need to start using these components. And as I already told you, this is not like somebody teaches you and you learn, right? You have to explore, because hundreds will be there. We are not sure which one you want. Depending on your project requirements, you need to explore, you need to learn, and you need to design the components by yourself. And even you take a notes now, right? So after few days, it will change. Some new engine may be introduced, some new library may be added, some changes in the components properties will happen. You have to explore everything by yourself. Let's see. Let's go to here, how to explore. I will show you. Go to the main page. In the documents, what you have to do is in the material UI, right? MUI documents. Here you have to go to the components, right? You have to search for the components. Open here. You will find left side in the panel, you will see components. And it is same like Bootstrap actually. It is same like Bootstrap. You open these components, you see hundreds of components are there. So many components will be there. So many components will be there. I hope you learned about some of these components in Bootstrap also. For example, what is the official Get Bootstrap? In Get Bootstrap, you go to docs. Here you will find same components here. Am I right? Here also you have accordion, alerts, badges, breadcrumb, cards, carousels, and everything. And same type of components are available here also. Here also same type of components. But what is difference is, difference here is nothing but usually it is designed for React. React native. Here don't think React native means mobile something. It is native for React library, right? Specially designed library for React. And you have to explore and learn every component. We can use the components. For example, see, I want to display like some button. Just you go to the button in the components. This is the button. And what you need to understand is, see, when you are exploring any component, two basic things we need. What is the selector and what is the base library? These are the basic things you need. And you see in the help, you can see in the help, they have directly given you the basic button. and how it looks like. They have given these options. And you see, this is the hierarchy. Means various types of buttons and their appearances, their options. How to handle their functionality also they have given, and you have different size, different appearances here. We can use all this, but the question is, as a developer, so by seeing this, you cannot directly write this and it will work. As a developer, how to learn about any component? What is the first basic thing we have to understand? To know about every component, you have to go to, remember this point, when you are exploring anything, note that to learn about any new component, you have to explore the API. You have to explore the API. So not directly the examples given by them. If you directly go to the examples given by them in the code boxes and try them, the lot of dependency problems will come. Dependency problem means because these kind of libraries are not directly available, they needs lot of other dependencies. That means one component is dependent on another. And if you miss those dependencies, obviously you will face a lot of issues. So to learn about any new component as a developer, first you have to go to its API. So don't go with these examples directly that you see, right? First, what you have to do is scroll down. You can see these are all button related things. What you have to do is scroll down. At the bottom, you will find API. This is where, as a developer, you will get information about it. That means this API is for developer to learn about the component, right? That means you go to this API. Now you will see here API. And in the API, you can observe here, this is button base, icon button, loading button. And in this, currently, we are looking for the button. Click on this button. Remember, this is directly exploring about React button. There, you will not get a correct information as a developer. You will just get the syntaxes which are used to put the button in the page. But before you put the button in the page, lot of hierarchy is required. If that hierarchy is missing, they will not work. So go to API and explore this button. And when I explore this button, now you can see this is API button. This is API button. And here you will get the information. See, the first step is you have to import button from Material UI button, right? Remember, in Material, it is configured as non-default, understood? And in Material button, it is configured as default. You can try any of these, your wish. You have learned about this, which is default, which is not default. That means don't get confused. Both are same. But at one location, it is configured as default. And another location, it is configured as non-default. So first, you have to import. This is the step. And when you directly search in components, this all information will not be there. So you have to first get this information. So explore the API. And next point, what you have to do, so get the details about library required to import. Understood? The library required to import, you have to get that. These two I am giving here just for your sample. Okay, you can get that from their website. I'm just giving you here. Simply you can configure these two. Okay, we are importing this. Next step, second step is you have to get the details about component selector. You have to get the selector and what properties. Once you import, you will get the component selector. You see the component selector. So this is the component here. And what is the component here? So these are the component selector. See, the component name is MUI button. Component name is MUI button, but selector name is not MUI button. Selector is not MUI button. Remember, this is only component name. Component name is different. Selector name will be different. So all the components in material UI, they prefix with MUI. Understood? They prefix with MUI. You have to use just this name. You have to use just this name. If you have any doubt in that, then what you can do, you can go to the demos. You will see in the demos, and in the demos, you can get that demo, right? You have button demos. In the button demos, you will get how to use the button. You can see this is the name. But to get information about any element, directly don't go to the demos. Where you have to go? You have to go to API. In API, you have to select the control. You will get information about its, and see its properties are there. And see the properties. This is the property name, its type, and default any value is there, and its description. You can know, you can see there is a property called color. The color can use any of these values. And if you don't define any of these values, default it will be primary. You can use error, success, info, warning. These are all same like Bootstrap contextual options. Huh? You can see some other properties are there. It will show you all those properties, right? All those properties. Actually, for Bootstrap to give full width, what we have to do, W100 we use it. Here we have to use full width, which is a Boolean, true or false. Like that, you need to learn about every component and its property. And button have variants. You see, button have variants like contained, outline, text, string. That means this variant is used to change its appearance in different ways, right? This is its option. And see, this is text. These are the classes. You see some CSS classes are there. What are the CSS classes? If I use this class called MUI button text, automatically it will apply the variant as text. That means either you write like this, understood? You write like this, we have button, we write variant, understood? You write variant as what? Text. Or you write like this, button, we can use the class name. Class name. What is the class name? You have to define the class name. Actually, it is only class because that is the own created component. Their property name, they can give any name they want. It is not HTML. It is their own created component, and they have a property called what? You see, it is having a class property. A classes property is there, right? Yeah, classes. There is a property called classes. In this classes property, you can apply directly this class. You can apply. You can see CSS class name, and you can use MUI button text. MUI button text like this. You can add. Both are same. Either you use variant or there is a separate class. You can apply the class. So every component is such complex. You have to try all this here. That means now see, I will use a simple, let's go to the design now. And here already a product component is running. A product component is running here. What we do is, let's go to the product component. In the components, product component TSX. And here I want to add, suppose I am using some style. You see, I am writing some style, and here I define style. So margin left, I am adding some effect. That means here I will give some string, right? Margin left, we are adding some option. So how much? Suppose 100 pixel, like this we are configuring. What is it? Margin. It is a string type only, na? Margin left is a string type property only. Some issue. Style. Some property issues are there. Yeah. Style. What is that? Margin. Okay. Margin left. Okay. Margin left, what it is? Some 20 pixel. I will give like this. Okay. That is the property defined and it will have that appearance here. Now I want to add some button. That means now this time material UI button we have to import here. How do we do? So we have to use, in order to use any component, we have to import. And what to import? We have to import button. So button from material. Or there is another technique. You can make it as default, right? If you make it as default, then you have to import from material what? Button. You have to define in this way. It's your wish. You can configure in any way. Now, how to use that button? I want to use the button here. Then we will just use the button class. We have to configure. And what are the properties for button? For button, we have a property called what? Variant. Variant. What is the variants? You can see already the IntelliSense has shown the variants available. So these variants, yeah, these are all the variants available: contained, outline, text. Suppose I given contained is an variant for that variant. And we need to define some text here. This is like register is the button. And what else you can give? In the properties, you can see here what else we have. Color. Na? We can have the color here. That means I am defining the color. Color. And what is the color? So color I given as what? Primary. That is the color I have configured and it will get that. This is the button. But this is not Bootstrap button. This is your React button. We have a button like contained. You have a button like outline. You have a button like outline. That outline button will be, where is it? Outlined. Okay. Outlined. Outlined. It will be like this now. We have an outlined button. We have a contained button, different appearance. Now I just given you only button, right? You have hundreds of components. For example, you saw Netflix have an accordion. Now remember, events and everything, no change, same. On button click, you want an event to happen. Then what we have to do? We have to define the option. What is it? On click. And on click what? Everything same. So handle click. Handle click. And you need to configure the method here. So we need to define a function here. Function here, what is it? Handle click. Handle click is the function, and what it have to do, it should keep some alert. So registered, something like this we defined. That means all your functionalities will be same. Only the point is the UI, the user interface will change. And here you just designed an ordinary component. Suppose we created a shopping cart, there we designed carts, right? You see, these material also have, let's go to the material components. You see, they also have a card. They also have a card, and you can see demos. You can observe these cards looks like this. You can see cards demos, yeah. And you can see their cards looks like this. This is a card. You see, this is a card. Card, this is a style card. Of course, like this we can design in our general Bootstrap also, but it looks more different. It has different set of attributes, right? And designing such thing is not a complicated, it's a very simple thing now. right? What we have to do, you can see this is the card options we are having. Share these buttons, and you see the functionality. You click on them, it will expand. That means you remembered we have product descriptions we can put in this kind. Now how to design such cards? Now if you want to explore, I already told you, first go to API, know the library to import, know the properties. After that, come to demos. In the demos, you can open the source. You can see here at the bottom, you will find the source, right? You can open the source. In that source, you can see we have two source. One is JavaScript source, another one TypeScript. Yours is a TypeScript one, right? You select the TypeScript, it will give you how to design the card. And remember, don't worry, these are not all the logics. This is not the logic, don't worry. You see, the card is very simple. We have a card, the width of the card, and we have card header. Card header is having avatar. Avatar is a small icon for that large image. You can see, so it is having a small icon. This is avatar, right? That is the small icon for this large one. You can put a small image there. One image for avatar, another image for complete detail image. And you can see that it can define that. You can see all this. And it is only, this is card media. Card media is nothing but image. Card media is image. And card content is this. And observe carefully, there is an option, expand more. On click, handle expand. That means it will expand and collapse. And in handle expand, what is the logic written? Here you can see they have a logic written. So where is it? Handle expand, click. Set expand, not expanded, expanded. That means these logics you have to handle. You can see what the logic they are writing. That means how they are defining, configuring. And you can implement that logic into your components. Now you try one such component. So like cards in your shopping site, right? We created a shopping page. In that shopping page, you try to design these cards. Now what you have to do, you have to write this card in an iteration. That means what you have to do, you have to create a map function, products.map. Map is a method which will read every product, and for every product, what you have to do, you have to design a card. This card is the bootstrap, not bootstrap card. This is MUI card. In that you have to put your data. That's it. Only the card interface, card related additional functionalities will be changing. So, and remember, you design card here, in another library card will be different. That is the reason as a developer, you have to explore all these by yourself, right? You try this. If you feel any difficulty, let me know. So I will explain where the problem is, where what you have to correct. I will show you one option. You try designing these 1-2 options, how to create. These are simple cards. These are simple cards, not having more options. Different types of card designs. You can create anything that you want. In any style you want, you can configure. Image at the left, image at the right, image at and for everything functionality not required, we can simply use. Just you have to design by using those. And very important, you have to import those options. Import means you observe here, lot of things are imported. Card is imported, but card is not enough. Card requires card content. Card requires card media. These are all dependencies. Understood? Where to get this dependencies information? API. In the API, you can get all the dependencies. For example, I will show you API. You see in the API, let's go to the card. You can observe here, these are all card dependencies. Understood? That means you select the card and you will get here the card and card related properties. What are the properties? And you see its dependencies will come, and dependencies will be actually continuous. Continuous means card area. That means in the card, how to design the card action area. In that, how to design the card actions, level by level, you will get that information. You try by yourself how to design that, right? One card, simple card without any actions, you design a simple card for our project data. That means shopping data. That is very good now, right? If you can do this, I will show you one simple example of how we can design a simple cart like a design by using the concept of one more third party we will use here, and we will see how to work with Redux, right? Tomorrow we will do that, right? In tomorrow's session, we will discuss about Redux. What is Redux? How we use that Redux, right? Now you can use all these combinations and design application, right? Tomorrow we'll continue, okay? Right.